My name is Davika. I'm a recruiter with Climate People, and we recently just helped place Michael Chang with Actual Systems, a wonderful company in the climate space. So, Michael, if you can introduce yourself and kind of talk to us about how your experience of getting a job in climate was, that would be wonderful.
Sure, yeah. My name is Mike. I'm a software engineer with about 10 years of experience and worked with climate people to find this job at Actual, like Davika mentioned. Um, yeah, and then really have a wide variety of experience in software engineering, doing some backend data processing as and infrastructure work, and most recently was working as the first employee at a fintech startup. But there's in the last couple of years, there's definitely been something in the back of my mind where I wanted to spend my time working on something mission focused, and what I really wanted was to help make a better world for future generations on Earth. Don't have kids yet, but want my kids and my nieces and nephews to really enjoy the outdoor experiences and that I was able to enjoy growing up. And I think there's tons of different ways to make a better world for future generations, but climate work is very intersectional with other issues like public health and just equity in general. And so, I was hoping to find an opportunity to make an impact in climate to hopefully help advance progress on those issues as well.
Yeah. Do you feel like you experienced any barriers while looking for climate jobs or, just jobs in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's, while I was doing my research, there's like tons of super interesting companies, right? I don't think there's a shortage of folks trying to do these things, especially these days. I think it was definitely difficult to maybe not difficult, but like there's definitely a lot of opportunities where they're very like hardware focused, right? That a lot of the uh, you know companies that are like pulling CO2 out of the air, for example, right? Where hey, this is super interesting, but it's not necessarily a fit for a software engineer at this point in time. So I think it was a balance of like finding companies uh, you know like you would in any job search, but then finding the place where my skills could um be useful, at that point in the company's sort of lifetime and trajectory, and yeah, and like being able to make an impact there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Could you walk us through like your experience like getting a job in climate? Why was the time now? Why did you want to work on these things? Did you consider different sectors or was it really just focused on what actual was doing? Can you just walk us through that journey?
Sure. Yeah, I like I said, I've been interested in a while, and so I think maybe in the last year or so, kind of started to build up this background knowledge from podcasts and joining Slacks like my climate journey and work on climate, and I think that helped me. That doing those sort of things helped me get a view of sort of the landscape and um, what kind of sectors even there are, right? And what people are doing and what seemed interesting to me. To me, what seemed interesting actually was a couple sectors. So one was electrification, and this idea that that we need to do this, right? We need to stop using fossil fuels. All of our homes and buildings need to be electrified so that we can stop depending on natural gas, for example, to heat our homes. Um, the second sector that was interesting to me was around this idea of like ocean knowledge. The ocean is like a huge carbon sink right now, but we don't understand too much of it. And we're starting to deploy more things in the ocean, like wind farms and thinking about mining the ocean. And but we're missing this layer of like understanding the impacts of these things and also the status quo. And so that was another um, sector or domain that was interesting to me. And actually measurement, which I guess actual doesn't actually do measurement at the moment, but like it wasn't like on my radar as much. But but yeah, I think having a conversation with the folks at Actual kind of really understood the impact that um getting companies beyond decision paralysis could have.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think I think a learning from there is, I had my breadth of topics. I thought I knew what I was interested in, but it doesn't hurt to talk to folks and dive deep and um, understand their perspective and see where they're coming from. And yeah, I think that was super helpful in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, in terms of the impact piece, I know that when we were working directly, that was something that was a core piece that was really important to you. Not only that, but also being able to wear multiple hats and get very involved in the full life cycle of everything the company was doing. So, in regards to just your job search and all the companies that you had on your plate, how do you kind of decide that actual systems was the right impact piece for you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think in terms of multiple hats, I think naturally at a smaller company, you're gonna have an opportunity just because there's lots of voids and lots of vacuums, right? It's like you never have enough people, and there's always too much to do. And so, joining a seed stage company like Actual, I think will afford me the opportunity to wear multiple hats. And if I like to pursue those, so I think that was an important factor when I was thinking about joining Actual. I think secondly, just talking to the actual people. Actual can be used in many ways. Talking to the people at Actual. Um, I was lucky enough to speak to folks, both on the software engineering team, but also across other parts of the company, and really got a couple of things really shown through. I think it was a team that I would love to work with that was mission focused. Really intent on solving this problem. And a consistent piece of feedback that came up was that the founders were very intentional about everything they're doing as they're building this company, right? Whether it's um, thinking about building the company culture or fundraising, but also like very open to feedback from the rest of the team about any improvements that could be made, especially in this remote first culture. So yeah, so I think those are some of the things that really made it feel like, hey, this could be a good fit for me.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Was the interview process what you were expecting? How was your experience working with climate people? Can you just touch on all of those steps and how that was for you?
Yeah. Yeah, my experience with climate people, I had actually heard about climate people, I think through work on climate at some point, before Brendan even had someone founded it, I think. And then I think he founded it, and then I kind of revisited it later because a friend of mine had reached out with climate people and worked with climate people as well. And and yeah, it was nice to talk to Brendan, talk through some of like, what I was looking for, what I was valuing in the next opportunity, and some of the requirements that I was looking for. I love that climate people seemed very intentional about the companies that they're working with. Definitely climate focused, right? And yeah, companies that I guess I had a layer of vetting for better or for worse, right? Um, Devika was super helpful throughout the process to make sure that the next steps were clear and to just ensure clarity, throughout the process. The interview process with Actual was great. I think we did a sort of a take-home exercise, which sort of personally, I think I am able to show my better side versus doing the sort of constrained 1 hour coding high pressure interview, I guess, right? And so I was grateful to have the opportunity to sort of do that take home assignment and then submit that to the team so that they could evaluate me in a more realistic context, I'd say, right? But then yeah, like again, like I said, I was very lucky to be able to talk to multiple members of the team, both the software engineering team and folks from the policy team and the founders as well. And yeah, it was just nice to I'm sure it was nice for them to be able to have multiple folks across the team meet me and understand where I'm coming from. But for me, it was also very nice to sort of get those views from across the company as well. And
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that the entire process was pretty went pretty smoothly. No, like sort of, hey, what's going on? Throughout the process. So yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of the job that you took with Actual Systems as a platform engineer, can you kind of tell us a little bit more about the company's overall mission and, how you've understood this from your impact piece, and also a little bit about what you're going to be doing there on the team as well.
Sure, yeah. So Actual is and I'm just joining the company, so I don't know if I'm going to do it justice, but Actual is centered around this thesis that we need as many companies to take action towards decarbonization as quickly as possible. And there's a lot of companies thinking about doing measurement, right? Which theoretically speaking is what you need to know, because if you don't know how much you're emitting, then how do you know how you're going to sort of reduce that, right? Or cut things out. But Actual thesis is to, instead of spending time up front to measure, your company's current emissions, like let's actually just like build a model in a game-like fashion that allows you to really understand the parameters of your business to really just be able to take action and make progress now, right? And that doesn't mean that measurement is not important, but we want to sort of get the ball rolling and have the snowball effect of making decisions and getting beyond this decision paralysis. And my role as a backend engineer is going to first to help build out the first version of the product for some of the existing clients that we have on board, and then really after that dig into the weeds of building this decision modeling engine that allows Actual to help clients across multiple industries to figure out again, like what are the parameters of the levers that they can pull to really change how their business is run to start to decarbonize. So yeah, very excited about the opportunities and both the mission and the ability to work with a strong team, and also learning opportunities for myself as well. So
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's awesome to really have that day-to-day job where you can see the direct impact that you'll be making. So that's really exciting, and congratulations.
thanks.
So yeah, of course. So while our sole mission is to get more people working on climate, we're also really proud of our partnership with 1% for the Planet. So essentially, we donate 1% of every placement fee to an environmental nonprofit. We sent over a few nonprofits, and I can give you a quick refresher if you need one. But did you have a second to look at those and see which one you want to donate to?
Yeah, I took a look already, and I'd like to donate to the Environmental Voter Project.
Awesome. Yeah, they're such a good organization. One of my favorite things about them is that they what they call the peer pressure model. So basically all of their messaging is centered around the fact that these people are doing it. Why aren't you doing it? And really just trying to encourage people to vote. So yeah, they're an incredible organization. And as we know, policy is kind of the root of it all. So your donation will hopefully spread some of that awareness a little bit more. So yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you all for being part of 1% for the Planet. Like, yeah, I think every little bit helps, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with that, Michael, do you have any advice for people who are looking to transition into climate that you would share just from your own knowledge and experience, kind of interviewing and just being in these jobs?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a couple things before, but I think try to talk to a breadth of people and ask for advice if possible. You'd be surprised, how willing people are to help. I think a lot of people have gone through this very similar journey that I have recently, right? And they can I'll kind of see some of the same barriers and are willing to help tear down those barriers for you. And so, just trying to talk to a breadth of people, reaching out, even if it doesn't seem like there's a role at a company that that might be a perfect fit for you. I think you'd be surprised at how willing people are to help out. I think figuring out what you want is important, right? I think, personally for me, this is the first time in a while that I was kind of looking for a job from scratch, and so it forced me to figure out what I was prioritizing in terms of my role and what I would be doing on a day-to-day basis, and that dictated the size of the company to some extent. For example, what values do you care about from a teammate perspective or from a company perspective? I think narrowing down on those things helped me, as I made a decision to, decide what company to join to really, help me get out of my own decision process, I guess, right? And sort of just make a call. And And yeah, I think there's just like a lot of resources in general about understanding the space. It felt overwhelming at first. It's like it seems like there's a lot of different places, where can I make most impact? And so like I mentioned, I think joining a community like Work on Climate, which I found super useful. And there's a ton of podcasts out there. My favorite one is Volts by Dave Roberts. He talks a lot about electrification and yeah, and so yeah, I think those are a couple things that I found helpful in my search. So
Definitely, yeah. It's so funny you say that. A lot of people we talk to say the same thing. It's like there's so many resources that it's almost overwhelming. It's like there's too much information. So yeah, finding a way to figure out what you want and really prioritize that and use that to navigate your search is definitely helpful. So I'm sure a lot of people will relate to that. Cool. Davika, do you have any other questions that you wanted to touch on?
I do not, but thank you so much, Michael, for sharing your experience. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and this is just the beginning of the relationship, not the end. So I'm super excited to see everything you do for actual systems, all the work that you put into the platform, and just seeing the company grow and excel. There's so much exciting work to be done. So
thank you.
amazing
Yeah,
job and congratulations again.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, happy to help out. Your efforts in whatever way. I think it's yeah. I mean, I definitely recognize that. Like, while I hopefully we're finding my fulfillment like in working climate, but like bringing more people on board is important as well. So like if I
Yeah.
can help in any way other than this interview, happy to help. So
Yeah.